Right here. Good afternoon.
Can we ask you how you respond to these reports that yourself and Senator Husakis and Senator Carignan are all among the 21 who were spending?
Let me just say that, as you know, the Auditor General has filed his report. He's delivering it today, we understand, to the Speaker, and it will be tabled on Tuesday in the Senate. At that time, we'll respond to what's in the report. There has been a rumor or a leak or something to the effect that I, along with several other folks, are going to be named in the report, and I just want to confirm that I am named in the report. I have a respectful disagreement with the Auditor General over some travel expenses that I incurred in 2011. They total a little over $10,000. Those claims relate to trips that I undertook as part of my duties as a senator to deal with issues that I've spoken publicly about and have introduced bills in the Senate to deal with. I submitted the claims in 2011 on Senate forms. They were properly supported by all of the invoices and boarding passes and all that sort of thing. They were processed by the Senate administration. The claims were paid. No further information was requested. And now, 4 years later, the Auditor General suggests that I should have retained more information, which I simply do not have. I was not required to, and I don't have that information. So on the basis of that, his conclusion is that they were private rather than parliamentary. I respectfully disagree, and I'm going to have this determined under the arbitration process that we have set in place. So I'm perfectly comfortable.
So you'll refer this to Mr. Binney?
Absolutely, yes.
How problematic is it, sir, that the Senate leadership is taking issue with how the audit was done? Doesn't that undermine the process?
Well, you know, I'm sure, to be facetious, I'm sure none of us would wish to be there. But that's not our choice. But we are where we are. I think we have, as leaders, as the leaders of the Senate, behaved entirely responsibly. I have absolute confidence that the issues which my colleagues, Senator Carignan and Senator Husakis, face will be in the same kind of category, that they behaved responsibly and appropriately, as I have. And I think that the answer to your question is, it's not senators judging senators. We have brought in a highly respected former jurist who I think will be seen as being fair to everybody.
But you see how it looks, though. You do see how it looks. You brought in this arbitrator, which is an extra step, which the 3 other senators that you kicked out of here did not get, and now people who brought in this extra arbitrator are themselves being pointed at.
Thank you for raising that. If you go back and look what I said about what happened to those senators 2 or 3 years ago, I said at the time, this is inappropriate. We don't have a process in place. We need a process to do this. The government is making up this process as we go along, but we did what we did. The government forced through what they did then, and I said that we need a process. We now have a process developed, and this is the kind of process which we should have had in place when we dealt with those senators. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Just because we didn't get it right the first time doesn't mean we shouldn't get it right.
Is it fair that the people who have questionable expenses are deciding the process moving forward?
Well, I think that's exactly what we're saying. This concept of having an arbitrator, an independent arbitrator, this has been in the works for several years, since the kind of thing we talked about a moment ago. So we've been developing this for some time. This isn't something that we thought up last week or last month or 2 months ago. The process of developing this arbitration dispute resolution process has been in progress for some considerable time, under former Speaker Kinsella, former Speaker Nolan, and now under Speaker Husakis. So this is a process which we've developed. I think Canadians will see it as being very, very fair. I have to go inside. If I may, I have to go back inside to make a speech. Those are bells that are ringing. I'd be happy to address your further questions on Tuesday when we have the full report. I would ask fair-minded people to wait, read the report, read what's said about each of what the Auditor General concluded with respect to each of the claims, and what the individual senators have said in response, so that everything can be seen in context. So I think I commend the report to you when you get it. I think it's a fair report, and I think that the process that we've set in place to deal with these issues, like mine, is fair, and I and others will abide by the result.
But just in terms of who can speak,
do you know that you had been flagged?
Going forward, who can speak for the Senate if all three speakers or leaders are being investigated?
Well, they're not being investigated at all.
I mean,
they're not being investigated, in fairness.
Right,
they're a report, and we will deal with that, and I think that you will find that with respect to the institution, the Speaker will be supported by the two leaders on a go-forward basis on behalf of the institution.
Well, because did you know that you'd been flagged when the arbitration was in